booming thunder radio, where we groove as the spirit moves. Yeah. Drawing the honey from the rock with the righteous Reverend Doctor on booming thunder radio.
Ye mighty friends, good morning. Ye may the spirit and the love of the truth be manifesting in your heart in this moment, ye in this day, as 1,000 years with our existing Father in the earth, and 1,000 years with our Father, like just this one day in the earth with Him, and His Son's glory, the everlasting glory of the truth, when it manifests in your heart. Ye, and the heart of gold starts pumping the blood of Yehoshua in your veins, and your blade is only used to witness, a faithful witness of the circumcision of the hearts. Golden submarine captains. They've been through so much. They gave their whole lives for the whole world. Yet it was only for the one they love, the existing Father and the Son of the Word and the journey. Long, strange road it's been. Hallelujah. 71 years since it all became real in Israel. And the living word manifests each day with each willing vessel on the raging emerald sea. Ye dares to find a faithfulness in a mortal man's heart that would dare to walk upon the living water of the raging, Kinneret Sea, holding the hand of Mashiach, the Spirit of truth, the right hand of the Father, revealed at the perfect moment of time. Oh, I hope you've been taking the journey with us, mighty friend. I hope you have been falling in love with the truth and the Spirit of truth, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, the one and only true Yahshua. And the Westerners, Latin, Englishized, pagan version, whitewashed tombs, There's all kinds of these kinds of Jesuses, but there's only one true Jesus. Be not deceived by the wiles and lies of men. Dig deep like a Hanukkite warrior for the truth, like a strong man. Yea, in the fourth watch each day, as we together with the Spirit of truth, the Holy Spirit in our heart, pray unto the Father for mercy and forgiveness of all we have done, knowingly and unknowingly, to our brothers, yea, to the whole earth, to our Father, that we can receive the same measure of forgiveness and mercy as we have given out. For it is not in the hands of mortal men with a blade upon a man's chest, a blade upon a man's neck, a noose drawn tight. It shouldn't be this way to be married to a spirit, inherited in a way as our fathers have inherited it for, yea, since Abraham came across, yea, that river long ago, yea, like that cypress trees and crepe myrtles down along the, yea, Sabine River, y'all. Yeah, she's wide and she's flooding and she's raging right on down the line. Yeah, old Toledo Bend. Yeah. She may soon be 40 miles wide. Nothing quite like old Baton Rouge and the Orleans that was once new in 1718, like San Antone, establishing their fortresses, their sanctity, their religiosity, their plan of angels and men. So cunningly and skillfully crafted as scroll work upon all the buildings. Yeah, the purity of the stone's color and the skillfulness of the chiseler's hands. Yeah, the helper that was sent to them, the one Yahushua sent them. Yea, we each that believe in the Spirit of truth, He sends us a helper. Yea, and we worship only the King of everlasting glory in the earth. Yea, the Spirit of truth manifesting in a man's heart. Yea, the Word living made flesh. witnessed the circumcision by Elisha, and all the Elijahs coming forth to birth the Elishas in the earth. The 144,000, the tribe of, we be jamming, the tribe of Benjamin. Have y'all been studying that on your own? Has the Spirit of truth been moving your heart? The end from the beginning, the tribe of Benjamin, and the mystery of the new Jerusalem in your heart. And the coming forth 3 times a year. But would a wise man see the evil and hide himself? Or would he, in his folly, roll right up into it and receive his destruction for his ignorance in the word everlasting? But when we, the us, the remnant, truly understand who we, the us, who we really are, and who we have been chosen to become, this humility required to receive such a great gift in such great poverty is finally realized. And all the things unseen, things that carnal men and their desire to control the world, conquer the world like Alexander with a blade of steel, and then give it all to his 4-leafed clover generals, and it could have been the way Alexander wanted it to be, a new beginning for Charlie Be Good. Wouldn't be Johnny no more, it'd be Charlie Be Good. And that old Skip dance across the stage in the black and white Rolls Royce kind of tuxedo old Chuck's got on. And I hope your drill bit goes deep with old Chuck Berry. And the wine and the bread and the salt on the Sabbath day would come forth at the Spirit of Truth's perfect moment in time. Until then, let each of us be faithful in the Word in the 4th watch. Today, wisdom cuddled up against our heart, and the blade was received within her pages at 1167. And as our brother Thayer comes forth in his humbled nature, his repented, his heart made flesh and circumcised, his tools and the flap thrown upon the fire. a humbled bondservant, but one Yehoshua HaMashiach, and no other, for all other spirits are under his command. All things were given him by his Father. Yeah, because he loves him, and he is faithful. Are you faithful, mighty friend? Is your G on 1167 this day? Are you as Thea upon your knees before the Melech Zadik, the Spirit of Truth? Is the sword of the Spirit drawn and laid with a trickling of blood upon your chest? Does the Thea definition reveal your trembling? Timidity. I can't hardly say that word, but it means fearfulness and cowardness. For the thrusting of their blade, the sword of the Spirit of truth into their heart, circumcising it before the spirit of Elisha's, and Elisha in the earth, throwing that fleshy heart, circumcised, flap, sliced off, reaching the left hand in the pouch and removing the tools and wrapping the flap around the square, the squared arc, throwing it on the unhewn stone of fire. If we go to the Complete Word Study Dictionary, we see that it's a noun, a feminine noun, G 1167, dielos, fearful, timid, cowardness, fearfulness, a spirit of timidity, a fearful spirit. Like a sapphire hen we got just the other day. Whole lot of old sapphire hens running around, fearful of the master in the house, the one unseen, the one the world works very diligently to make you believe that spirit world does not exist, while they exploit the occult side of the spirit world of darkness as you and blind you from their workings of darkness. They would appear to be the most impeccable people beyond reproach of any unmorality or thievery or working against the law of Moshe, the Torah that reveals the way we are to go. The Hebrew mindset where you can say to this mountain, for in Hebrew, the mountain is like your mindset, spotless lamb. And when you can say to your mind, be removed and cast into the sea, and you do not doubt in your heart, it will be done for you. This is not magic. This is the word of truth in a righteous man's heart. And these other things are the men that the Bible warns us about. Let no man deceive you. For they walk around and they worship Baal, the pagan gods, the pantheon, the 72 of and not the one true God of Israel. They lie and say they worship, but they are the synagogue of Satan in the earth, waiting for their moment to devour us all. Those who have been given the truth they have made and been educated in the Jesus that they made, and not the true, the love of the truth that takes a man and his family beyond the teaching of the world, of Egypt and Mystery Babylon. But we must all move out of that and into the Hebrew mindset. So let us go into the word study of H 1167, and we see that the Spirit of truth pierced the pages at the strong man number 1167 page, which is Baal. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. This is the unknowable one and the everlasting glory in the earth, moving the mystery of heaven before your eyes and before your ears and before your big toes and your hearts. A masculine singular noun meaning Lord. So everybody that hollers it for the Lord is hollering for Baal, which is the god of, Mystery Babylon, the god of Egypt, the god that makes men prisoners and they don't even know it. Husbands, owners, possessors. It's the title of a Canaanite deity, Baal. It can also denote rulers and leaders, as we see in Isaiah 16 and 8. For the fields of Heshbon have withered, the vines of Sibmah as well. There it is, 1167, H 1167. The Lord's, little l, of the nations have trampled down its choice clusters. When reached as far as Jazeera and wandered to the deserts, its tendrils spread themselves out and passed over the sea. Yea, those bodies of water, they bring order to the whole earth. If we look at the brown driver, we see that Baal has several meanings, but the ones that work inequity in the earth, the ones that worship spiral-cut ham and egg-laying rabbits, these are all pagan things that Baal, the owner, husband, and Lord, the owner, a husband, a citizen, or of the inhabitants, the rulers of the free and accepted ones of the area, the lords, a noun of relationship used to characterize things such as a master of dreams. Yea, do you understand? Jacob was a master of dreams, was he not? The Lord used of foreign gods to deceive the knave into believing that they are worshiping the one true God when they are worshiping, yea, the glistening reflection of the Creator and not the Creator himself. The ancient Hebrew lexicon Bible number 2027. It is the rule and master is where it comes from, which is the yoke which binds the master to the servant. And then you put the house in front of that. Eal is the yoke of the servant, and the house is the house of the yoke, which is the Baal, which is the ruling part, that the dominion of the spirit, the husband and the wife and the married one. To marry, rule over, possess, or own. It's also the master, the man, the owner, the husband, the master or the Lord, and the mistress, Baal. Yea, the unspoken mistress that comes with the worshipping of Baal. Yea, the working of inequity and all the spiritual forces that all those who work inequity, all the vanity in their heart revealed. For Yahushua HaMashiach is giving them the vanity of their minds and hearts. Forever seeking and studying the truth, but never coming to the knowledge of it. So now that we have found the page 1167 and moved in the spirit of truth from all the masters and sages of long ago, we go to Isaiah 61, which is page 1167. And having crossed over into the Hebrew mindset, let us take these words and place them in our heart and walk with the Yahushua HaMashiach in our heart, made flesh, the living word. Are you ready? Let's take a drink of that cup of coffee before we start the rock and roll army. Yeah, a Jericho trip one more time around, y'all. Oh, did you see that red ribbon? Yeah, that lamb skin dyed in the blood. Red. Just under the prayer shawl of the honey badger skin of the tabernacle of the beloved one. Yea, even as Moshe and Aaron in the days of old. The Spirit of Yahushua HaMashiach is upon me, because the existing Father has anointed each one of us to bring good news to all the afflicted in the earth. He has sent us to bind up the brokenhearted, do you hear? To proclaim liberty to the captives and freedom to the prisoners. Hallelujah. To proclaim the favorable year of the existing Father, Mareahovah. Hallelujah. And the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to grant those who mourn Zion, giving them a garland instead of ashes, the oil of gladness instead of mourning, the mantle of praise instead of a spirit of fainting. So they will be called oaks, Elon, oaks of righteousness, the planting of the existing Father, that he may be glorified. Yea, the name of Mareahovah. Then they will rebuild the ancient ruins. They will raise up the former devastations, and they will repair the ruined cities, the desolations of many generations. Strangers will stand and pasture your flocks. The foreigners will be your farmers and your vine dressers, do you hear? But you will be called the priests of the existing one. You will be spoken of as ministers of our God. Yea, we will eat the wealth of nations, and in their riches we will boast. Instead of our shame, we will have a double portion. And instead of humiliation, we will shout for joy over their portion. Therefore, we will possess a double portion in their land. Do you hear? Everlasting joy will be ours. The afflicted For the existing Father loves justice. The existing one hates robbery in the burnt offering. Do you hear? And the existing one will faithfully give them their recompense and make an everlasting covenant with them. Then their offspring will be known among the nations, and their descendants in the midst of the peoples. All who see them will recognize them, because they are the offspring whom the existing Father has blessed. Yea, the existing one will rejoice greatly in our heart, rejoicing in the Father, blessing Him in the glory and the knowledge and the teaching of His Son in the earth. Oh, let each of our souls exalt our God, the one true God. Yea, the Spirit of truth, the everlasting glory sent forth by the existing one, the Son of everlasting glory, Yahoshua, the one true Jesus, Yahshua, the Hebrew God of our fathers. Oh, He has clothed us with garments of salvation, has He not? He has wrapped us with a robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decks himself with a garland, and as a bride adorns herself with her jewels. For as the earth brings forth its sprouts, and as a garden causes the things sown in it to spring up, so Yahoshua HaMashiach, our God, will cause righteousness and praise to spring up before all the nations, as He was raised on the third day. Hallelujah. Isaiah 45 and 23 with 24, and Psalm 72 and verse 3, the faithful witnesses of that, springing before all the nations. But what of Zion's glory and new name? For Zion's sake, we will not keep silent, and for Jerusalem's sake, we will not keep quiet, until her righteousness goes forth like brightness, and her salvation like a torch that is burning. The nations will see your righteousness, and all kings your glory, and you will be called by a new name, which the mouth of the existing Father will designate. Isaiah 60 and 3, Isaiah 56 and 5 for two faithful witnesses. about the mouth of the existing one. We will also be a crown of beauty in the hand of the existing Father, and a royal diadem in the hand of our God, Jehovah, the unknowable, unspeakable name, revealed but by one, the Spirit of truth, the Word made flesh in a man's heart. It will no longer be said to you, are you listening? Forsaken for what you have done. Nor to your land will it any longer be said, are you listening? Your fertile land. Nor to your land will it any longer be said, desolate. Do you hear? But you will be called, my delight is in her. Hallelujah. And your land, yea, married. For the existing one delights in you, yea, in each of us, and to each of the land given us to marry. For as a young man marries a virgin, do you hear? Faithful, upright, honorable young men marries a virgin. So your sons will marry you. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so our God will rejoice over each of us. On our walls, O Jerusalem, we have appointed watchmen all day and all night. They will never keep silent. You will remind Yahoshua's father, Jehovah. Take no rest for yourselves, remembering the right hand of the Son becomes the right hand of the Father. And give him no rest until he establishes and makes Jerusalem a praise in the earth. In her 71st year, the praise and glory is seen, and hearts pouring and burning on fire, the golden oil. The existing one has sworn by his right hand and by his strong arm. Hallelujah. We will never again give our grain as food for our enemies. Nor will foreigners drink our new wine for which we have labored. But those who garner Those who garner it will eat it and praise the existing Father. And those who gather it will drink it in the courts of our Father's sanctuary, in our hearts. Go through the gates. Clear the way for the people. Build up the highway, mighty friend. Remove the stones. Lift up a standard over the peoples. Ye, the tribes, the spiritual tribes of New Jerusalem, the hearts of men, circumcised, yea, hearts made flesh, the Word made flesh in their heart. Behold, the existing Father has proclaimed to the end of the earth. Say to the daughter of Zion, lo, your salvation comes. Behold, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. Isaiah 51:5. Oh, you want more? Isaiah 40:10. Two faithful witnesses, you and who you witness to, as one in your heart. And they will call them the holy people, the redeemed of the existing Father. And we will be called, sought out, a city not forsaken. Hallelujah. Yahushua HaMashiach. Well, you know what time it is. Oh, it's time to get that apron off in the kitchen. Yeah, get the prayer shawl, get that linen covering on the outside, the badger skin of your tabernacle that covers your apron, your white apron that you, with the love of the truth in your heart, have dyed red by the word of truth. And the ram that came back 40 days later, the goat wearing red, yea, that the redness of the sea be in the parting of the great divide and his old way of thinking, and now the Spirit of truth and the revelation of what vanity really is, the Father's faithfulness to give, yea, the ignorant of the living word what they desire by the words of their mouth, even in their ignorance. Forget not that the words we speak, every one will come under review by the Father. Yea, may the Spirit of truth that judges all men be the Spirit that speaks and moves my spirit in the way of everlasting in the earth. So today, the Hebrew pie and that we smell comes to us from HebrewPie.com, mighty friends. So if you go to HebrewPie.com, don't do it while you're driving. Be wise, not foolish. Now, just had a few issues here to correct, so forgive me for my... Alright, so we are going to 62. So we go to HebrewPie.com, go to the top, and look for Two Faithful Witnesses in the menu there. Click on that, it'll take you. You'll see the 10 Commandments. You'll see the hint of the raging sea. You keep going down, you'll see the former rain and the latter rain, 2 big blocks of numbers. We're going to be in the first block of numbers today, the former rain, and we're going to touch on 62. And it's going to take us to Hebrew Pie 62. And the picture is the lake of fire, Michael's sword piercing the water, the sword of the Spirit on fire. Yea. Do you see it? The Psalm of Hebrew Pie 62 is 266. So if we come over here to the old brown driver and see what the Hebrew version of 266 has for us, the BDB definition of Ahohite is brother of rest. Yea, one of the clan of Ahoah. Yeah, can you dig that? The rest. When was the last time you had rest, brother? Peace beyond understanding, where you had no fear of evil. You only have fear of the existing Father's wrath of releasing evil upon you. But you walk in the covenant. Yea, you walk in the Spirit. There is no law, because the Spirit of love and truth is in your heart. And the Torah is for those that break the law, those that profess to love the truth but don't, so that we can all see by their inflictions what the truth really is. If their enemies are against them, then there is one who is out of the covenant, causing disgrace upon all the earth. Only one in the army needs not be a pure mind and heart. And all the spiritual tribes will be put asunder. Be watchful for the traitor, for the Judas Iscariot in our midst. Let us cast him out and bring the glory and the living word of Mashiach in the hearts of all the earth. So if we go to the complete word study, we see several interesting passages. 1 Chronicles 27:4. Dodiah. Oh, did you see that? D-O-D. We know what that is, right? I've worked with those people for 40 years. It's called the Department of Defense. And this particular word, H1737, Doda, is spelled D-O-D-A-I. Now, let's just take a quick look at what the depth of that D-O-D-A-I is. Probably the same as H1737, which is dodo. And dodo, mighty friend, is Hebrew for, it means his beloved. It's also a man from the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of the men who knew what the time and the season was, and what the men of the spiritual tribes of Israel should do. He's also a man of Bethlehem, father of Elohana, who was one of David's 30 captains, and Ahoite, father of Eleazar, the second of the 3 mighty men who were over all the 30. Yea, his beloved Dodo. Hallelujah. But what happens if we have received the glory and turn away from the truth and use it to work inequity in the earth? And we turn to the Greek mindset of G 266. What does our brother Thea say? He says it's equivalent to G 264, which is to be without a share in, to miss the mark, to err, be mistaken, to miss or wander from the path of uprightness and honor, to do or go wrong, to wander from the law of God, violate God's law, yea, by sinning, knowingly or unknowingly. Yea, that which is done wrong, a sin, an offense, a violation of the divine law in thought or in carnal ways of actions. Collectively, the complex or aggregate of sins committed either by a single person or by a group of many. It is a feminine noun. So if we look at the complete word study, we see that G 266 means to sin, missing the true end and the scope of our lives, which is God in our hearts upon the earth, that our children would be the generation to live forever in the earth with Moshiach in their hearts, the Spirit of truth revealing the Father, that all the earth could become anointed, humble, and not an offense in relation to God with emphasis on guilt. Aberration from the truth to error from the truth, sinning. Yea, like John 8:46. Which one of you convicts me of sin? There it is, G266. This is Yahoshua HaMashiach's words. Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I speak truth, why do you not believe me? Yea, because you love the lie more than the truth. As the love in your heart is not true love. The love of aberration from a prescribed law or rule of duty, whether in general or of particular sins. Thou art wholly born in sin. That means that each of us are a sinner from out of the womb. To commit sin means the same thing as to work sin. In John 5:16, to sin a sin means to commit any sin. Unless there is a Father with the love of the truth to give to the Son, that he can understand and step aside of the pitfalls in the wilderness. It's also spoken of unbelief or lewdness, deflection from the gospel of the anointed Son. And when you get in the habit of sinning, when you get in the habit of not seeking first the kingdom of heaven and the righteousness of the living word in each of our hearts, then the legions of darkness and the smoke of swine's flesh fill your gut and your heart. And you become an old sow in the earth, eating anything. And lots of it. So now that our heart is prepared, let us receive Hebrew Pi 62. Yea. Give us the weapon. Outside, the world continuously blinds us with lust, ego, and poisonous chemicals that bring forth genocide. They add in the poisons right before our blinded eyes. They make us broken, dividing us from the joy and wonder that awaits inside. A camel roaming freely is what brings us to the tabernacle and the pillars that stand outside. Poor and weak from the long poisonous ride, we must lift up our hands and cry unto our Father. I forgive all those that have done evil upon me. Grant me forgiveness in the same measure. Wash away the poison, for I give repentance unto thee. O Father, make us whole once again. Breathe upon us that we can take the seat again. Unite us, Yahovah. Resurrect us. Give us your just reward. Make us tzaddiks. Let the veils fall from our eyes that we can know you more. Give us the weapon, the mystery of the double-edged sword, that we may enter inside as your bride in completeness, with the breath of your ruach, giving sight unto our eyes. The snake no longer in us. We kill the beast within every day. Bonding with his righteousness, we come through the veils connecting heaven and earth as the transfiguration on Yahshua's faithful day. Symbolic of the Sabbath, keeping the commandments forevermore. Yea, remembering always that the commandments are for the wicked and those that walk with the Mashiach in their heart. There is no law, for they walk in love and peace and mercy for the merciful. Yea, may all the earth receive mercy. Yea, may the touch in each of our lives be by the existing one that sends forth the everlasting glory in the hearts and tabernacles, the minds of anointed men. Yea.
I've been waiting.
Yea, me too.
For so long.
How about you?
For love to touch my life, the feelings inside.
Come on now, y'all.
I've been waiting
So long.
for love to touch my life. Now I feel it inside.
Oh, let you feel it inside. Come on now.
Good morning, love. I hope you will stay. All of my life, you've been running away. Around and around, now I'm turning inside. Oh, I got a love I can't hide.
Come on now, be groovy.